and welcome. You're watching the Daily Bulletin of Into Vietnam, exclusively on VITV channel. First of all, let's take a look at top stories of the day. Vietnam and European Union Free Trade Agreement could boost GDP growth by 15%. Moody's sees improved outlook at 6 banks in the country. And the index of industrial production rose by 5.2% and 0.5% respectively in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. The potential payoff from the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement that could be concluded and ratified as early as 2014 is an estimated 10 to 15% boost in GDP, along with a concurrent expansion of Vietnamese export by 30 to 40%. The information was unveiled by the European Chamber of Commerce, or Eurocham, at the seminar in Hanoi on September the 24th, discussing opportunities and challenges in the EU market. The Eurocham said two-way trade volume between Vietnam and the EU has been on a steady uptick over recent years, reaching 26.6 billion euros in 2013, of which Vietnam export to the EU market was 21.3 billion and imports from the market was 5.3 billion. Last year, Vietnam trade surplus with the EU hit 16 billion. The Ministry of Industry and Trade said the EU is now Vietnam's most important trade partner, which has set high standards for goods to penetrate the market. At present, just 42% of Vietnamese goods enjoy the EU's Generalized Scheme of Preferences, or GSP. However, if the FTA is signed, at least 19% of Vietnamese goods would be exempt from tariffs. Therefore, Vietnamese businesses should seize every opportunity to improve their competitiveness and obey regulations on standards, technical requirements to penetrate the market. The final negotiation round of the FTA are set to take place in Da Nang on September the 25th to September the 26th. Experts predict that the agreement will be signed late this year. And now let's move on with some financial news.
Moody's has recently placed 6 Vietnamese banks on positive outlook. It upgraded the ratings on the Vietnam's International Bank, or VIB, by 1 notch to B2, while affirming the ratings of the 5 other banks at B3 and changing their outlooks to positive. The 5 banks include MB, Sacombank, Techcombank, along with ABC and VP Bank. The agency also affirmed stable outlook for Vietinbank, VITV, and HSB. Moody's said that risk ratings were primarily driven by the stabilization in the operating environment and the expected improvement in underwriting standards, which in turn were due to improved governance and lower risk appetite at some banks. However, Moody's noticed that Vietnamese banks continue to face considerable credit challenges that will take time to resolve. The obstacles include problem access over and above reported non-performing loans and poor loss absorption capacity due to loan loss provisions and weak profitability. After 5 years of operating separately from Vietnam's stock market, the country's bond market has developed rapidly and provided the state with 654.5 trillion Vietnam dongs, or $30.8 billion in value. According to the State Securities Commission, the value represents nearly 18% of the country's gross domestic product. Specifically, the average market growth was 22% per year during the period, the highest among emerging markets in East Asia and the ASEAN Plus 3. Liquidity improved, with the average trading value of each option increasing 7.5 times through the years, from 365 billion Vietnam dongs, or $17.2 million in 2009, to more than 2.7 trillion Vietnam dongs, or $127.3 million so far this year. In addition to market value, there were encouraging changes in the structure of investors. Although most buyers were commercial banks, the markets received increasing interest from insurers, funds management companies, and foreign investors.
The supporting package for Vietnam real estate market worth 30 trillion dong is said to have been disbursed at snail pace. However, it should be noted that banks, the distributors, are having difficulties in boosting money outflow. Although the government supports them in applying low interest rate, they themselves are responsible for the disbursement and debt collection missions. Banks can hardly slash lending rate further, while the rate is not low enough for low-incomers. The paradox brought about much lower than expected amount of disbursement of the funds. The updated report by the Ministry of Construction revealed after 1 year of deployment, the total emitted funds from the 30 trillion dong package was more than 3.95 trillion dong, fulfilling just 13.2% of the plan by the end of May. This is far below the target of disbursing the package within 3 years. Laura Phạm Thanh Sơn from the HS law firm commented, "It's hard for banks to boost lending to real estate market due to the high responsibility in front of the government."
Việc giải ngân nó phụ thuộc vào việc là các ngân hàng thương mại khi mà họ nhận trách nhiệm, phải chịu trách nhiệm với nhà nước về việc giải ngân đó, mà họ lại không đủ niềm tin, hay nói cách khác là họ buộc phải tránh rủi ro bằng cách là siết chặt, bởi vì họ chịu trách nhiệm với chính phủ. Và đến khi mà họ thực hiện quản lý mà họ không quản lý tốt, dẫn đến mất vốn thì họ phải chịu trách nhiệm.
As non-performing loans are now a big headache for banks, they are extremely prudent in lending out. They even introduce their own lending conditions, discouraging individual and organization borrowers from meeting the requirements.
Khi mình tìm hiểu gói 3.000 tỷ này thì là cái việc mà chứng minh tài chính, hồ sơ để đi vay vốn ấy cũng khá là phức tạp. Chúng tôi làm một công ty tư nhân thì lại phải bắt chứng minh cả tài chính của công ty tư nhân đó qua ví dụ như là báo cáo tài chính này, báo cáo thuế này, rồi là các hợp đồng lớn nhỏ hoặc là các cái hóa đơn xuất.
Hiện nay cái điều kiện cho vay trong gói 30.000 tỷ đồng là tương đối khắt khe về điều kiện, và cái hai nữa thủ tục xem xét thẩm định hồ sơ cũng tương đối là phức tạp.
Điều kiện để vay không phải là dễ dàng gì, đặc biệt là chứng minh cái nguồn thu nhập của mình, chứng minh khả năng trả nợ. Bên đây là muốn vay từ trong ngân hàng và các cái thủ tục phục vụ cho nó thì hết sức phức tạp. Chứng minh về điều kiện kinh tế, chứng minh về cái thu nhập ổn định, chứng minh về cái diện tích nhà ở yếu kém, không đủ năng lực, rồi xác nhận rồi số lượng người ở, rồi hộ khẩu vân vân, tất cả mà lo các vấn đề đi theo.
Other issue bothering house seeker borrowers is the fact that although the lending rate of the preferential program was brought down to 6% per annum to 5% since early this year, it's not low enough for low-incomers to afford. In the meantime, banks can hardly bring the rate down further.
Là thực sự là với những cái điều kiện về lãi suất như hiện tại, trong cái bối cảnh mặt bằng lãi suất nó cũng đang có những cái mặt bằng lãi suất chung, lãi suất tín dụng nó đang có cái xu hướng là được giảm rất mạnh như thế, thì cái ưu đãi về lãi suất từ cái gói tín dụng 30.000 tỷ này nó không thực sự còn hấp dẫn.
Tại sao ngân hàng này không thể nào giảm giá được xuống? Thế thì câu chuyện đây là câu chuyện là nền kinh tế vĩ mô, tức là gì? Vấn đề an ninh của đồng tiền, vấn đề đảm bảo giá trị của đồng tiền, đúng không? Vấn đề về chống lạm phát, vấn đề về ổn định lãi suất, vấn đề các chỉ tiêu liên quan đến ổn định kinh tế vĩ mô của nhà nước, nó mới làm thay đổi được cái cấu trúc về lãi suất của ngân hàng. Chứ còn bản thân ngân hàng thương mại họ cũng là những đơn vị kinh doanh, vì vậy cho nên họ phải có lãi, tức là nhà nước cung một nguồn vốn với lãi suất giá thấp cho các ngân hàng thương mại để ngân hàng thương mại cho vay với lãi suất thấp. Họ huy động 7,5% thì họ phải cho vay ít nhất là 10%, mà thông thường các ngân hàng thương mại là phải cộng thêm khoảng 3 cho đến 3,5%.
In the upcoming time, the central bank will ask more joint stock commercial banks to involve in the lending package to create a more competitive marketplace. However, once banks' responsibility in front of the government and the lending rate issue are not settled down, banks are still reluctant in lending out. The index of industrial production, or IIP, rose 5.2% in Hanoi and 0.5% in Ho Chi Minh City, more in the following news cluster. The Hanoi Statistics Office has announced the Index of Industrial Production, or IIP, in September rose by 5.2% on month and 6.9% on year, in which mining industry saw the biggest on-month drop, up 75.9%, but rose 44.9% on year. The processing and manufacturing sector rose by 5.6% and 6.9% respectively. Electricity production and distribution rose 2.6% and 0.2%, while water management rose 1.4%. The IIP of the capital city rose 4.5% on year, largely thanks to a surge of 237.4% of the mining sector. The inventory index at the beginning of September of the processing and manufacturing sector in Hanoi rose 13.2% on year. Sectors with down inventory index include food processing, beverage production, chemical manufacturing, and electricity device production, among others. Sectors with high inventory index include tobacco production, garment and textile, among others. In the meantime, the Ho Chi Minh City reviewed the industrial production index in September in Ho Chi Minh City rose slightly by 0.5% from August and rose 8.5% on year. The index in the 9th-month period rose 6.8% on year, with the mining industry improving by 3.8%. The processing and manufacturing sector rose 6.8%, electricity production and distribution 6.6%, and water treatment 8%. The inventory index of the manufacturing and processing industry on September the 1st fell by 6.7% versus the corresponding period last year. Sectors with high inventory index include motorized vehicles, furniture, and tobacco production, while electronic products, paper, and fruit manufacturing saw falling inventory index. The VFM-VN30 Exchange Traded Fund, managed by the Viet Fund Management, has secured a license from the State Securities Commission, becoming the country's first domestic ETF to be operational. The fund has registered capital of $202 billion or $9.5 million, and its custodian bank is Standard Chartered Bank in Vietnam. Well, that's all for this edition of Into Vietnam. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you. Well, that's the end of this program. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon and goodbye for now.